Hello students, welcome to my channel SDK Pathshala. Today we are going to talk about physical and chemical properties of a particular matter. Let us start with states of matter. So how many states of matter are there? There are three states of matter. One is solid, another one is liquid, and another one is gas. And in this class I also tell you about plasma state. So in solid state, as we know, molecules are closely packed, and in liquid state they are not closely packed, so they can flow, and in gaseous state they are far from each other. And in plasma state, all the positive and the negative charges are kind of separated from each other, so that's why they produce the plasma state. Next, melting, boiling, freezing and sublimation. So what do you mean by melting? Melting is a process in which a substance changes from solid state to liquid state. For example, in case of a melting of ice, if you keep an ice cube on the table, then what will happen? After some time you will see the particular ice cube melts. So this is the process of melting, that is it melts into water. Next, freezing. What is freezing? Freezing is just opposite to melting. So if we keep some amount of water in a bowl and keep it in the deep freeze, then what will happen? After some time it will changes it into its solid state, that is into the ice. Next, evaporation. So what do you mean by evaporation? Evaporation is a particular process where liquid changes into gaseous state by random particle movement. So in case of boiling of water, or in case of keeping some water for in a particular bottle or in a particular bowl, then you will see that after some days some amount of water is less there. So where that water goes, that water evaporates. Next, boiling. Next, sublimation. Sublimation is a process where a substance changes directly from its solid state to liquid state without becoming a liquid first. So in this process a liquid directly goes from solid state to gaseous state without becoming the liquid. That's why it's keep the liquid state. So if you keep some amount of camphor into the or in air, then after some time you will see there is no camphor. So the camphor just vanishes. So where that camphor goes? The camphor goes from where? The camphor goes from solid state, or changes from solid state to gaseous state without liquefying fast. So this is an not general formula, general formation. So next process is boiling. So boiling is a process where liquid states to gaseous state forms at a particular temperature. Now we need to know about melting point, freezing point, boiling point. Melting point is a particular temperature at which a particular solid starts to melt into or start changing into liquid state, and as long as the whole substance doesn't change into liquid, the temperature remain constant. That temperature is known as melting. Next, if we case melting point rather, and if you say about boiling point, what do you mean by boiling point? Boiling point is the temperature, is a particular temperature under normal atmospheric pressure at which a substance starts boiling and starts changing its state to liquid into gas, but it doesn't, but at the temperature remain constant. That constant temperature is known as the boiling point. Next, we need to know about the physical property. What are the physical properties of a matter? What do you mean by physical property? Physical properties are the properties that can be measured or observed without changing the chemical nature. So what are the physical properties? Physical properties: color, density, volume, mass, boiling point, melting point, smell or odor is the physical properties of the matter. Intensive property, what do you mean by intensive property? Any characteristics of the matter that doesn't depend on the amount of substance present is known as the intensive property. Whereas the extensive property is the any characteristics of the matter that depends on the amount of matter being measured. Now let us consider identification of physical properties like touch. If you touch iron and water, then you can easily identify which one is iron and which one is water. By smell, if you smell NH3 and H2S, that is ammonia and hydrogen sulfide gas. So hydrogen sulfide gas has a smell of rotten egg. So you can easily identify it by their physical property, and ammonia is having a pungent smell. So we can identify both of the gases by its physical property, by the smell. Sugar, naphthalene, camphor, you can identify by what formula? By smelling you can identify those substances. So these are the physical properties by which we can identify the substances. Next thing is that magnetic property. By magnetic property you can also identify the matters, like if you have an iron rod or a copper rod, then both the rods are not attracted by the magnet. So which rod is attracted by the magnet? The rod which is made up of iron. So we can identify that iron rod easily. So these are all the physical properties. Like sugar is soluble in water, but sulfur is insoluble in water, so we can identify them. In other case, sugar is insoluble in carbon disulfide, but sulfur is soluble in that, so we can identify sugar and sulfur by that. So these are the physical properties by which we can identify the substances. Next, come to chemical properties. So what do you mean by the chemical properties of the matter? The chemical property is the measuring that property must be lead to a change in substance chemical structure. Chemical structure changes, like heat of combustion of energy release, different heat of combustion release. Chemical stability, they are not chemical stable, some are chemically stable. Flammability, some are inflammable, some are flammable, like hydrogen is flammable whereas oxygen is not flammable, but oxygen helps in combustion whereas hydrogen doesn't help in combustion. Prefer to oxidation state or reduction state. So these are the chemical properties. So how can you identify the chemical properties? Like heat evolve in the chemical reaction between water and quicklime, but heat doesn't evolve in the reaction of, or when we put some amount of sugar into water. So we can identify both of them very easily. Okay, another thing is that in case of heating of sugar and salt, sugar will easily melt and then become charred. So we can identify sugar and salt easily. Salt will not melt and not become charred. If we need to identify zinc and ferrous sulfate, then how will you identify them? If you put both of them into H2SO4, then one will give away hydrogen gas and another is giving away hydrogen sulfide gas, and hydrogen sulfide gas having a smell of rotten egg, so we can easily identify it. So these are the chemical properties by which we can identify this. Next, or identify different elements or different matter. Next, metals and non-metal. We know what is metal and what are non-metal. Metals have some characteristics, that is they are good conductor of electricity, good conductor of heat, they are malleable, they are ductile, they has the luster, they are very shiny, they are opaque. So these are the characteristics of the metal. So whenever you drop a particular metal object, then it will give a dong sound, whereas non-metal doesn't do that. So non-metals are generally poor conductors of heat and electricity, brittle substance, they are non-ductile. Non-ductile means they cannot be made into wire, they are not malleable, they cannot be turned into a sheet, they are very soft substances. Okay, so these are the few differences between metals and non-metals, and in this chapter up to this we have come to know about lot of the things. So go through the chapter carefully, and if you have any doubt then you can send it into the comment box. Okay, and I will solve the questions for you. If you find the video helpful, then please click the like button and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed yet, and press the bell icon so that you will get the notification of my latest video as soon as I uploaded those videos. Thank you.